What's up, guys? Raving Evangelist. I just did one on the 7 woes to the Pharisees and making the tree good and cleaning the inside of the dish so that the outside of the dish may be clean also. But I made one little mistake in there. I corrected myself after, but I'm like, it's not good enough to keep it, because it's, yeah. So anyway, we'll get into that really quick here. But really quick, so Jesus is saying clean the inside of that dish so that the outside may be clean also, okay? He's saying get born again. He's talking to the Pharisees. They had the appearance of everything clean on the outside, but inwardly he said, you guys are filled with dead man's bones and corruption. They did not believe. They did not believe that he was the one who he said he was, and that's the call continuously to believe, and they rejected the promise. They rejected their own Messiah. So that's the story with that, and Jesus is saying, that's in Matthew 22 or 23, by the way, with the 7 woes to the Pharisees, but I guess it's in Matthew 12, I believe, where he's talking basically the same thing about making the tree good. And he says, if you make the tree good, it'll produce its proper fruit, right? And then if you go to Matthew 7, it's saying a good tree. Now, this is where I messed up on the last one. It says a good tree cannot bear bad fruit. It cannot. And it says a corrupt tree, a bad tree, cannot bear good fruit, okay? So these are like absolutes that Jesus is talking about, right? If you go to 1 John, is it 3:9, I guess? It's somewhere in 1 John. It's either 1 John 1:9 or 1 John 3:9, I believe it is. It's saying the person born of God does not sin, for the Spirit of God remains in him, right? It says his seed remains in him. Check that in the King James version, by the way, because every other translation says the person born of God will not go on making a practice of sinning, or will not go on, continuing habitually in sin. There's all these different translations as if that verse is talking about the flesh. It's not talking about the flesh. It's talking about the spirit within you. It even says it. Person born of God does not sin, for his seed remaineth in him. Right? And you preach this verse to people too, and they start thinking that you're preaching sinless perfectionism, right? Because they're going to say, doesn't it say in 1 John as well that if we say that we are without sin, we make God out to be a liar and the truth isn't in us? Flesh, guys, flesh versus spirit. Yes, that's in there, but this is a flesh versus spirit, what we're talking about here, right? So yes, we sin in the flesh, but if you're made alive, if you've been born again and all things have passed from death to life and you've been made new and he sees you as righteous, holy, blameless in his sight, he's telling us to be perfect, for he is perfect. He says without holiness no one will see the Lord. He's telling us to be holy too in another verse. These are all signs to point us to him again and again and again over. You must be born again. We must be cleaned up from the inside because there's no good in us. And that's what the Pharisees didn't believe. They thought they had it figured out. Anyway, so it looks like I got it this time. Cheers, guys. I love you. Have a good one. Peace.